Welcome back, listener. If you have missed the newspaper review and this discussion with our guest, then I think your conscience will never forgive you, because our guest has really pricked the conscience of so many people out there, including ourselves in the studio. Ask yourself, how have you contributed towards the division and adding up to the poverty in this country? And it's not enough to just sit down and say things have gone bad, but now this is the time for us to make a U-turn and go back to the right spot and start taking the right steps. As our guests rightly say, that we must reunite ourselves and begin to think positive of the other person. And I like the lines you used: sink or swim, we must grow this country. Listener, this Unity Train, your number one social political program, coming to you live on Unity 93.3 FM, the voice of reason. Before we start taking your calls, we'll just hear one question from our guest before we take your contributions rather.
Yes, you are aware that in the past, agriculture was the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, even after independence, until the discovery of oil.
Yes.
And that's when even the farmers abandoned the hoe and they decided to also go for the oil money.
Yes.
Do you think that with the way agriculture is actually being projected and the plans presently by the government, do you think we can actually rejuvenate back agriculture?
Okay, thank you very much. Agriculture was a mainstay in the early days of our country. But how did agriculture become that thing that we used that was the cash cow then? How? It was due to what the colonial masters then did. What did they do? When they came into Nigeria, they looked at where they needed different things. Okay? They started building the rail system. They built from Lagos all the way to Kano, through Kaduna, all the way to Kano. They built also from Port Harcourt all the way through Jos to Maiduguri. And what were they doing? They were taking all this produce. So because there was this way out to take all of this thing, whether it's cotton, whether it's copper, whether it's maize, cocoa, and all of that, it was thriving. Our people were very energetic and they were farming, but they were not getting the right value for all the inputs they were doing, because they didn't even know about what is they didn't know what is actually the cost of these things they are producing. So it thrived then because we had a colonial situation, and the colonial masters then, they needed raw materials. They wanted to use in feeding their industries out there. Yeah. But immediately we came in and took over the government of we Nigerians took over. We started having our issues. We were not, because then it was not about importing these things out there anymore. It was not about these cash crops. Take, for example, cocoa. How do we process and consume it? If we are not processing and consuming it, how do we process and export? So if you are not adding any value to it, those people out there, they will underprice whatever you are bringing to them. And at the end of the day, you have just worked for nothing. Just like the example I said about cocoa. If you ask the price of a kilo of cocoa, you will be shocked at what the price of a kilo of cocoa is compared to the price of chocolate.
Yes.
The price of chocolate is way, way, way up. So the people that are really making the money are the people out there who are producing the finished product. So why are we not empowering our people and developing them to produce the finished product? If we had independence in 1960, look at it from now to that, we are over 50 years or thereabouts now. Why have we not been able to develop some of these industries? You were talking about, in the newspaper headline, you were talking about cotton and banning of clothing, textile. Why have we not been able to use cottons? Because we exported cottons in large quantities. Nigeria was about second or third or so in the exportation of cottons in those days. So why have we not been able to use this thing to develop these areas we are talking about? So all of these are things that the government, the leadership must deliberately look at. The policy recently about closing of the border is something that maybe should have come a bit earlier for me. Even though I don't support it completely, I think we should tamper it, we should adjust it, because we are signatories to protocols and laws and all the other things from ECOWAS, and that closing the border infringe on some of those things we have signed. So we need to look at this very carefully and see how we strengthen our economy And because, to be very sincere with you, besides the Nigerian market, we also have the West African market, which we should be able to explore as much as possible. So if government is able to look at agriculture is a very solid avenue to develop this economy. But we must have deliberate effort, which is not cosmetics, like I used to say, which is not targeted at just achieving political points. We must look at 10 years, 20 years down the line. This rice project we are doing, are we doing it 20 years down the line so that we don't have to ever import rice? We now start to export rice to other African countries. Can we do the same in cotton? Can we do the same in cocoa? Because, take for example, if we produce all the chocolate we eat in Nigeria, we produce them here, do you know how many people will be given jobs? They will be in the millions. It's just like the GSM when it came and it created so many jobs. When you create such industries, the ripple effect, the production lines and all of that, you create so many other jobs. So it takes deliberate leadership to look at 10 years' time, 20 years' time, what do we want to see?
Okay. Listener, it's time for you to add your voice to this conversation. You know that on Unity Train, we don't give you anything short of the best. It's always the best, and that is why we have to bring our guest, even though he had to travel so many states down to Plateau State just because of this program. Yes. We appreciate you, and
thank you.
I know that Nigerians and Plateau people are celebrating you this morning because there's no guest that comes on this program and it's not celebrated. Bello, we'll start with the messages.
All right, good morning, presenters. We're very happy by the way the Adamawa State government is handling the minimum wage issue. We hope governors will emulate him. Ben Keswet is the Minister of Water Resources. Making Nigerian great demands a collective responsibility of its patriotic and committed citizens. Let's stop fixing blame, let's fix the problem. Edmond Yakubu is saying that poverty is perpetrated by men and women in authority who, because of greed and avarice, refuse to provide the enabling environment for prosperity to thrive. Ahele Adimili is in Binchi. Fighting poverty will be so difficult in this country because of the diverse ethnicity and religion we have. Again, insurgency and terrorism can only stop when the margin between the cost of living of the leaders come to balance with that of the masses. Mohammed is in Mr. Ali. Good morning, Mr. AP and Alhaji Bello. Justice Okechukwu is in Laranto. Your guests have said it all. Until we see ourselves as a Nigerian, not as Igbo, Hausa or Yoruba, mostly at the federal level, I have it on good authority that many have changed their tribal names to one tribal name just to secure a federal job, even to join the police force. Since we have abolished military rules, we civilians must come together and draft a constitution that will sort the system of government we have adopted. Without that, we will keep beating around the bush. We need a leader who will unite us. God bless Nigeria. God bless Unity FM. Thank you. Christy Izangis in Rokuba Road. Good morning, my able presenters and the guests. I commend the guests for the wonderful analysis. How I wish government, communities and individuals are listening and ready to do the needful. United we stand, divided we fall. We must all come together and fight this evil called poverty. God bless Unity FM. God bless Nigeria. God bless Christy Izang. Good morning, Unity crew and all the teaming listeners. Your guests really spoke well. May God reward you all. Nigeria is not suffering poverty of income or what have you, rather than suffering from poverty of leadership over the years. We only specialize in policy formulation without proper implementation and no any sustainable development plan in the country. May God see us through. Ahmed Garba is a social worker in Mudina Garba Street in Jos. Good morning, Bello, PDK and the guests. The way of getting out of poverty is first, the government should look critically on the economy. What have affected the sharp drop in finances in circulation? It's a generalized poverty. A man said they stock their shops with goods worth millions nobody is buying. Secondly, it's not just closing of borders because of agric and textiles, but have the government invested in factories, or will the factory build itself? Eric is in Ojuku Street and is asking a fundamental question. Morning, Mr. Bello and P. You are doing a fantastic job. The good work, may Allah protect you guys. Let's live in peace and tranquility with one another. Abubakar Ado Ubenta is in Zana. Your guests have really spoken well, wishing long life and contentment. I do appreciate Unity FM for inviting educated, exceptional and distinguished people like him. Wish him safe journey back to his destination. Mohammed is in Jos. All right. Are you still around or you are leaving Jos today? Because everyone is concerned about your movement anyway.
All right. For the sake of reminder, you know our ground rules here. We don't allow any name calling, stereotyping, or anything that will incite people against each other. Make sure you are very decorous in your contributions, whether by call or text messages or on the social media. I will be taking your call 070-3235-3315. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Your name and location, please.
I'm Dominic Mancha from JIB.
Go ahead.
I really enjoy your program,
Thank you.
and I really want to puncture on these areas that need to be actually seen as a purposeful causes of poverty in Nigeria. Because I believe one thing, poverty in Nigeria is caused deliberately by the leadership we had. Because when you look at Nigeria has been so put in a way that we are divided in lines of religion, ethnicity, and regional. And this, our politicians, that they have understood us, they use that to operate in order for us not to unite, because they understand it's a tool, very big tool, that they are using to ensure that poverty is more larger. Like, let me use Kogi State for instance. Kogi State, now they are running their election. 10 billion have just been approved. What is it going to be used for? There are other states that have applied the same, but such amount has not been approved. That is another thing. The issue of thuggery that you see, they are using thugs. If they don't make you to be poor, why would you be used as a thug? You understand? With all this, we could see how these guys have understood the Nigerian people, and I call Nigeria is just a gathering of people from different geographical locations to live. It's a forceful marriage. Because if you look, there's no deliberate and conscious effort that has been put in order to unite us to see ourselves as a nation. Nigeria is not a nation because when we come, we are divided along regional and ethnicity. And with that, when we don't look at Rwanda, you don't dare call yourself a Hutu or a Tutsi. That is a deliberate and a conscious effort. But in Nigeria, this is my brother, that is not my brother. How can poverty not thrive in a society like this?
All right, thank
So,
you.
if we look at this, I believe we, the youth, we, the leaders, must look at how can we salvage this country.
All right, thank you very much, Mancha, for your contribution.
Thank you very much. I think he actually spoke the mind of so many people out there. If we can banish the issue of tribe like they did in Rwanda, today you can't even call yourself a Hutu or a Tutsi. You'll be arrested. And
It's
there's
a
a
crime.
conscious effort by the government.
You see, that's exactly what I was saying about the issue of leadership. You see, when they had that genocide in Rwanda, they were able to come together and deal with the issue of who is Hutu and who is Tutsi. It took the leadership deliberately to say we are going to face out this dichotomy, and that was the magic.
See? Good morning to you all. Poverty is relative and the mindset of an individual. Secondly, the elite understand the psychology of people and inflict poverty on them. For we to be free, we must rise to the occasion. Okay, rise to the occasion by freeing our minds from evil thought, mediocrity, self-aggrandizement. Oh, I love this, but you didn't put your name. Yes, sir. Now, what is the way out? Peter Bala is in Gumo, and that's the point we're coming back to him for. Peace Ambassador, for how many years of Shehu Shagari stayed in office that he built our federal houses low cost and the state low cost by the late Solomon La? But tell me or show me the project of this government and that of the PDP, and you want the innocent poor people to believe the political office holders again? Okay, you used another word we will not use. That political revolution will still come to stay. Salim Salih Ocha, thank you. Good morning, Intercrew and all the listeners. Your guest really spoke well. We got to reward you all. Okay, I've taken your message actually. All eyes on Kogi election, the way PDP feel on the plateau. Okay, we are not prophets of doom, and just make your message very decorous so that we can be able to take them. Radio Mama Oda Nogus in Rantia. Poverty can be best tackled by investing much on education and providing an enabling environment for citizens to thrive. Sharing money to an insignificant proportion of the population can't fight poverty. It's better to provide a net for people to fish than giving them fish, which cannot be sustained. Wow, Adal Nogo, thank you. Now that we are compensated with the commissioner slot and the local government chairman, the promises made especially on our public schools and primary health care and the roads in our community is no longer a concern to the government of the day. Our PVC are still very powerful. Salim Salih Ocha is saying that.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name and location, please.
Azia is my name. I'm calling from Nukwi.
Go ahead, you have 1 minute.
Yes, I want to applaud the guest, and I also want to say this. In fact, I was watching some documentaries, and I saw how the granite pyramids and industries in Kaduna, Niger were used and cocoa in the way and palm oil and also provide quality education that will be able to make our graduates to produce locally. Because we in Africa or Nigeria, we consume what we doesn't produce, and we produce what we doesn't consume. I think if that is done, it will help to reduce the rate of poverty that Nigeria today is the capital of poor people in the world. God forbid. Because most of our crime in the society, as a result of this poverty, I want the leaders to listen to this guy and just to listen to him and implement this. I'm telling you, we get out of this darkness. God bless you, and God bless you.
God bless you too, as you are repeater.